Stephanie never read the right book. And
Stephanie was terrible at this book club.
I really sucked at book club.
I did
Fabulous.
not.
What?
I just had a visual. I just had a
It was a
visual.
lot.
I had a visual.
Proud of it.
Hold on, let me turn it on.
Hello and good morning on a Thursday, everybody. I've got Katy Acheson in the show with me today, and she's from the Cape Cod Chamber.
Yes.
You are also part of our Big Blue Economy.
Yes.
Talk to me about the foundation a little bit before we jump into other things, because I tend to ADHD my way out of conversations.
So the Cape Cod Chamber created the Cape Cod Blue Economy Foundation in 2017 as their 501c3 foundation, specifically to hold a grant, a large project from Seaport Economic Grants to create the waypoints that are all across the Cape on the waterfront. And Wendy and Chris and Leslie.
So many people were involved in that project.
Oh yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
Leslie and McGee and Bert Jackson, shout out, how you doing? Miss you. They created this incredible foundation and these incredible goals and initiatives. They created waterworks. And they created these beautiful sort of structures out in the world where if you stand in front of them, you look out onto the waterway and it tells you why it's important.
Very
So it's
neat.
educational.
Yeah.
Right. And then they put them up and then COVID.
Yeah, right? It's like we did all these cool things. No one could see it. Stay in your home.
Yeah. And they weren't able to do like the big sort of ribbon cuttings and tours and
Yeah.
everything around it. So then I came to the Cape Cod Chamber about 2 years ago and sort of, here's this Blue Economy Foundation.
Did they offer it to you, or you're like, this is something I find myself interested in?
I'd expressed interest in it. I don't know that it was necessarily on the cards for me when I started there.
Yeah.
But Paul Nizwicki is a little bit of a mysterious person. So,
He really is an interesting cat.
but he also, I think, noticed that I was interested enough in it. Right.
Yeah.
So I've been able to take the foundation and start to grow it.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's still kind of a baby. 2017 really wasn't that long ago for an
Right.
organization. And so it's a sister organization of the Cape Cod Chamber. And that's probably about 90% of what I work on is the Blue Economy Foundation.
It's really nice. I really am a big fan of the Cape Cod Chamber. I think they do a lot of great works and a lot of stuff you might not even know that they're working on. And it's much more than just a chamber role for you. But I mean, you've been with the chambers for a long time. It's kind of like where you found your niche.
Yeah, I started in the Mashpee Chamber in the early 20-teens. I can't remember. It was
my whole role there. But it really is connecting with the community, and now you're finding yourself in a bigger role. I feel like, because this is such a big deal for us as Cape Codders. We're coming into the season. People come here as tourists for our water, for our beaches, for our places.
Yeah.
And if we don't start protecting them and doing a little bit more for them, we are in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, I've already started to see online the notifications about which ponds are safe to swim in or safe for dogs or not. That's already happening.
Yeah.
We've only had a few hot days. So, protecting our freshwater ponds as well as protecting our coasts and our marine life, which is going wild out there. There's so much happening.
What is happening?
So much happening.
Seriously,
out
this
there.
is what I put on my Facebook page yesterday. I was like, this was not my bingo card. The amount of freaking pollen that we've got right now. Couple that with orcas,
And flamingos.
flamingos. I heard the flying venomous spiders are on the way. We're like, what? It has to be environmental.
I don't know what's going on with the flamingo. Okay.
My husband's like, there is no way somebody brought that as a pet. There is no way. I'm like, are
the
you
flamingo's rogue.
allowed to have a flamingo pet?
And my pal Travis from Leominster was telling me, give us back our flamingos, because that's where they created the plastic lawn flamingo. That's where those are from, Leominster, Mass.
Of course they're from Massachusetts.
Yeah, of course they are. Johnny Appleseed and plastic flamingos are
Yes.
from Leominster. And
We are on the map, everybody.
he's texted me, said, send back our flamingo. Like, how do you even know it's yours? Come on, man.
That's so awesome.
So flamingos are on vacation.
Yeah, right. They like Cape Cod as well.
And I don't know how much of climate impact necessarily for the flamingo. We have had orcas before. We've had killer whales before.
Right. It's just not the usual.
It's not typical.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the ocean's a wild and crazy place.
Right.
And we are surrounded by it, and we get to see it. Because we have like deep ocean and shallow ocean. We get to see everything.
Yeah. And I
cool.
feel like as a community, Cape Cod is super connected. We are really in each other's business for the good and for the bad. That we are though. We're like, what's happening over there? We need to know. Even though we'll stay in our town proper, we need to know what's happening everywhere.
Listen, I'm not going all the way to Dennis. Not today.
No, not today.
But I want to know what's going on with the flamingo.
100%. And people, I find when I talk about Cape Cod or when we go places, they really forget or don't understand how large of a land mass it is to cover.
And that it's 30 miles an hour almost everywhere to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So like it's just as easy for us here in Mashpee to go to Providence. It's actually closer than going to Provincetown. But I mean, I still identify with all of this little arm as my people.
Yes. Well, I went to Nauset, so I did my lower Cape, outer Cape time.
So awesome.
Yeah. So
I think I DJ often in Nauset, to the fact where they like send me letters and I think they think that I'm from there, which I just appreciate. Thank you for assimilating me. I am part of your community.
There we go.
I've been around. I'm the bad penny, like I said, not going anywhere. So the big blue economy is what we all are focused on, right? As we're heading into tourism season.
Yeah.
And what are some of the things that you guys are focused on at the foundation?
So the Blue Economy Foundation, the focus for me right now on a day-to-day is doing tons of stuff behind the scenes. We've got a couple of really well-established popular events now. We've done the Big Blue Conference 2 years
It looked
in a row.
so well attended. I really wished I could have gone because first off, robots.
Yeah.
I'm just interested in
electric planes, robots, and Calliope. Shoot. How can you not have,
I have come into contact with Calliope on several spaces. I was teaching in class at 4Cs during pandemic, and she took it for podcasting.
She's so cool.
So it's so cool. And she was like, I want to do this thing. And she's like, then she gets an oyster grant. Now she's like the mermaid oyster lady. She's pitching E for all. Like I find her in all of these very cool spaces. And just one of the most down-to-earth humans you've ever talked to in your entire life. But working on her water podcast was so wonderful for me as a person that really always, you hear recycle, you hear do better, you hear PFAS, you hear all these buzzwords that are like scary and what's happening. But to sit there and have actionable steps to just change small amounts of things was really eye-opening for me.
Yeah. You can actually do things.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. It's not unattainable.
Right.
Yeah.
Good morning, Miss Emily. Thanks for joining us on the show. We've got Katy Acheson from the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce. We're talking blue economy, the foundation that she's working on behind the scenes, trying to find all of these cool people, engineering things, like great creative minds, finding solutions to our problems.
Yeah. So we've got the Big Blue, which is really like, a 2-day conference about showing the world the scope of blue economy. What does it incorporate? Like it's oysters, but it's also robots. It's also, renewable energy sources and communities working together to find solutions to big problems. It's construction on the water, which is a whole wild time.
It's scary right now for people. Everyone's kind of in their own little space about it, but we have to do better.
With everything, right? So it's really about, understanding how broad and deep the blue economy can be, especially around here where we are. And then Waterworks was the event that I had adopted.
Yep.
That is just incredible. So the community college opened up their doors to us to bring in businesses, to put up tables and meet high school students from both the islands, the Cape, and Plymouth. And both times I've done it so far, we had the worst rain ever in March. And then we had a snow delay. So, it's going great. You're running a good event when the weather never cooperates.
For sure. But I mean, if it's an event about water,
This doesn't help.
You might as well have all of the precipitation. Like, let's just bring it on. Let's do it.
But weather, storm severity, sure, speaks to the climate impact, right? But the coolest things happen when you put young people together with people that are in their jobs and their heads in their desk all day and get them to talk. Everyone leaves inspired.
Yeah.
And especially the adults in the room just leave like, oh, wow, these kids are bright and brilliant. And this is why I do what I do.
Yeah, they're going to do stuff.
Oh, it's so, so cool. Because let me tell you, Cape Cod Island students are bright. Hella bright. I'm so like, I love working with students because they are excited and smart and they're going to, no pressure, going to change the world for the better.
Yeah.
Right?
But I don't think that they feel the pressure at this point. I think that I've got to say, from my graduating senior this year, that group of kids is just really, they're mindful of their environment. They're mindful of themselves. They're doing a better job with self-care like I've never seen before. They're really feeling the impacts of that weight, but also not taking it so stressfully.
So shout out to all the parents of this generation. Y'all
We've done a good job. That's what I said.
For real. Because
seriously,
you have to have been shown that it's possible.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I love these bright minds that are coming up, programming robots. Like, we did not do these things when we were in school. So they're already a leg up in where their mind works.
They're coding, they're literally engineering robots.
Yeah.
They're battling them at the airport.
How did you connect this whole thing? So talk about the conference for just a hot minute, because it was just an amalgamation of cool stuff.
Yeah. So this conference is going to move around all the time. We want to talk about the hottest topic, and the Cape Cod Gateway Airport are building their own microgrid. So they'll be their own power source and relying on their own
shout
power.
out to Katy over there doing so many things.
Which also, by the way, the first American Airlines flight came in yesterday at the airport.
Yay.
So we've got American Airlines. So that's really cool for the airport.
Yeah.
And so the airport are doing this huge project. So I called Katy and I said, if we're going to talk about this, I'd love to do it at the airport. The terminal is kind of long and skinny. It's not really conference shaped. So she put me in contact with the owner of Aloft Aviation, who's renting one of the airplane hangars, big metal box. That's where we have the conference.
There we go. Perfect.
But it was just one big metal box. And so I wasn't able to create a space for my exhibitors. So we added the Big Blue Expo in the terminal in between the two nights. And I also wanted there to be some kind of a additional draw, something a little more interactive. So I was like, what about robots? Because I read about a year ago now that Mashpee had sent a team to like Texas or somewhere for a national competition.
And what started off as just an after school program turned into like something just very, very cool.
And shout out to Mass Hire Workforce Board for helping bring that VEX to the Cape, which is so shout out, Kara.
Once you start showing up at these conferences,
cool.
You're going to find the layers upon layers of people, groups, just regular Cape Codders, all with their hands in something,
doing all this work,
trying to figure out how we're going to elevate ourselves into a better space.
Cool.
And it's really been joyful for me to throw myself into this ring, jump on the Mashpee Chamber, work with Mass Hire, work with E4All, work with all of these groups that are all in little ways making a small little difference, that we're just such an interconnected community. So I'm so thankful for that.
And then it manifests as a bunch of high school and middle school kids got to battle robots at the airport.
Right. So cool. And
it was cool. And the kids were cool. They had cool shades. And one kid came in his karate outfit. And one kid was in her ballerina costume. Because these kids are busy people.
Yeah.
One kid legit went school karate robots. How
So
do they have time to do homework? I don't know.
Right? I know. But they do it and they're getting it done.
And it was really, so it really did come out of the planning process, which sort of organically happened. And I have the pleasure of being able to program the conference and the pieces that go around it based on like what I'm curious about, what I want to learn about.
Kind of fun.
And I'm like, oh, electric airplanes. Let's talk about that.
I know. You and I were talking before. I forget what group we were in, and we were connecting, and you're like, would you take a ride in it? And I'm like, probably, but I don't know if it's a great idea. I feel a little
Let's
nervous about
go.
it, but I would do it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Because it's wild,
Yeah.
but also really super
Did you
cool.
plug it in? Does it have enough battery? Do I even want to get in this thing? It's awesome.
So I got to curate this conference with like stuff that I wanted to hear about. And
Yeah.
like, it's a great excuse to reach out to Greg Scommel to be like, hey, can you come talk about sharks, please?
Well, here we are. We're getting into the water season, and everybody's like, first and foremost, the sharks. What's in the water? We've got orcas. That's fine. They can kill the sharks a little bit. I don't know what the deal is with that, or how long Greg Scommel is going to be here talking to us with all of whatever it is, his funding. I don't know.
We'll do a GoFundMe.
And right, stay with us. Don't leave us.
Please stay.
I know.
Yeah,
we're like the pinnacle of Shark Week. It was very funny when my J1s arrived from Jamaica, and we were talking about, I was like, haven't you seen the movie Jaws? And they're like, yeah. I was like, that was filmed in Martha's Vineyard. And they were like, wait, what?
Oh,
like
no.
You could have seen like the connection in their brain, and then how terrified they were.
Scared them.
It's fine. We only eat tourists. It's not a big deal.
They only take a bite and then spit you out. They don't want to eat the whole,
Talk to me about Greg Scommel. I've never been in a room with the man, and I definitely want to know more about him.
So he was sort of our like keynote for the second day. He was the speaker that kept people at their tables.
Yeah.
Like,
oh,
yeah. I
yeah.
want to hear about the sharks.
Right.
And so I didn't actually really get to talk to him very much other than making sure he was going to be there. My coworker Haley Cote was the one that got to do sort of the video interview with him ahead of time. But he rock starred, showed up 5 minutes before he was going to go on stage. I'm calling his office going, Greg. And he just killed it with, information. He spoke to a level that everyone could understand.
Nice.
It wasn't scary unless you are a whale that's been bitten by a shark. That was
that was not a good day for you.
Graphic. But but he was just, we think of these people as like, they're super, super intelligent. I think that you're not going to be able to understand what they're getting at, but they're good communicators.
Yeah.
Right. That's why you get them to come speak. That's why he's, doing all this Shark Week stuff.
Science and education also.
Because he can speak about what he does really well. So it was just a really exciting, 15 minutes. And then he took some questions. And I think most of the conversation was actually really about the seal population, which was interesting.
Yeah, because a lot of people blame that on this,
Yeah, and it's
buffet of sharks we have now.
Right.
Come for dinner.
One of the key takeaways that he presented was really that sort of nature ebbs and flows, just like we do. Like we have good days and bad days. Nature has big populations and small populations, and Cape history is we've gotten involved a little too much in the past, right? And now nature's just sort of like self-regulating. It's correcting itself as much as it can, given all of our impact. Continue it.
Yeah.
So, that was really interesting. Just like really cool, calm, collected guy saying like, yeah, there are sharks. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, right. He's out there every day tagging them, stabbing them, checking them out.
And watching the videos of him doing the tagging, it's
no
like,
fear.
It's zen. He's so smooth, and then he gets it and he releases all of his energy, which is just really, really cathartic to watch.
Yeah,
because
right?
he's like
he's the man. If you've ever watched any Shark Week footage,
just
he's absolutely in there.
Hop on YouTube after this show and put in Greg Scommel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Check out.
It's really, really
his masterfulness on the ocean. World Ocean Day is coming up on Saturday. And we've got a lot going on here in Mashpee. I want to shift the focus a little bit to talk about that just because we've got coastal resilience. We're having a huge party over at Knockabout Beer Garden, and just better ways in which to not get so worried about it. I saw a study this week that 50% of our population has climate anxiety.
Sure. Okay.
And I was like, is that can't be real?
No, it probably
I know, but then I was looking at it and I was like, that's actually scary for
more
people.
More than 50% just have anxiety.
Right. You just have regular anxiety. So throw that in.
Climate on top of it. Oh.
I know, but when I read that, I was like, that just can't be real. But maybe it's just the regular anxiety of everything, which is seemingly very high in this day and age.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have this celebration of ways that we can be less anxious when we've got big storms, when we've got crazy precipitation, when we've got a hurricane, when we've got a tornado. All of this weird stuff is going to happen when we were not planning for it.
Yeah.
Or whenever Katie's going to plan an event, just watch for the weather there.
Just don't go.
Just plan for the weather to be funky. Poor
For
Katie.
waterworks at least. But yeah, I'll be there on
Oh,
Saturday.
good.
So
Wonderful. So
we'll be coloring.
that is
So
perfect. From 1 until 4 in the Mashpee Commons, they're setting up the big tent. So regardless, rain or shine, we're going to be there. Also, simultaneously, I believe, going on at the Cape Cod Children's Museum.
that morning.
Yeah, that
You
morning.
can do both.
Right. That's what I said to Lisa. I'm like, I will try to do both. I promise.
Yep.
They're unveiling something she has been working on with Hui for 2 years, 3 years, working on funding, and like getting in the Seaside Le Mans, securing that money, like really making a permanent exhibit at the Cape Cod Children's Museum, which is exciting to me because we've been members there for 25 years. And to see something new and fresh and science-y
so cool
come into our Cape Cod Children's Museum. Lisa had this vision of making it Boston, making it Providence, bringing those exhibits to our kids in our ever-changing way. We're learning in STEM and STEAM and all of the things that have been not showcased at the Children's Museum. Yeah, exactly. Because as they're getting smarter, we have to keep up with them to make sure that they're challenged.
We all need to go to the Children's Museum.
Seriously.
Start learning coding.
Right?
Start learning about underwater species.
And she's done a great job of making sure there's a teen area. So something to continue these kids so that they're not just babies playing dress up, which is also very important. Play of all kinds is really important. But I'm just really excited for this exhibit. And I know she's worked her tail off. Hui has been instrumental in getting this done. Just all of the people behind this new exhibit is exciting. So it's going to be an awesome World Oceans Day. So as I'm talking
Saturday is going to be wild. And then Sunday is Amity Day as well. Mashpee, busy weekend.
I know. Mashpee's got Amity Day and also our farmers market, which has been really incredible.
Yeah. What time is the farmers market?
So it's kind of all going on at the same time, but it's 4 whole hours. So if you want to do both, you can do both.
Yeah.
We're supportive of that. Ours goes from 11 to 3. They're 12 to 4. So you can
start up at the farmers
market. Can sneak in our quiet shopping. And that's twofold because we're not going to bother our neighbors over at the church. But also if you've got anyone with sensory issues and just can't take loud noises and big crowds, dogs especially. It's such a great dog-friendly space to bring everybody. We have wellness programming. So Lisa Z is going to be there on the green doing some mindful meditation, some yoga, some energy healing.
To help with the climate anxiety.
Absolutely. And this is all free, by the way. So it's really important to take advantage of some of these amazing programs and things that we're setting up for us to be less anxious. So that we can be more educated, so that we can do better for everyone.
I think some of the anxiety comes away when you get together with people that are interested in the same sorts of things as you and want to explore the same things as you. That sense of community helps with that anxiety too, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like also education. I feel like it's just
learning.
Really, okay, I know about it now. I'm not so scared about it. I think that is super important. Right? Yes. Look at us today.
Look at us. Reading rainbow.
I know. Lauren, thanks for joining us on the show. All Places is always there every single Sunday, putting a magical smile on the kids' face, whether it's blowing bubbles, painting faces, throwing up that big parachute that we all used to use when we were in the gymnasium.
Middle school.
Yes.
Elementary school.
She busts that thing out and I'm just immediately happy. I'm
Those
in immediate
are still
good
allowed?
mood. Yep. We have them for you. We also have a daytime disco. It's a big marshmallow blow up tent that we have disco music and fun little strobe lights in there for you to just go in and dance around if you feel like.
Get those like school trays with wheels and race them down.
Wouldn't that be
Street?
fun? I don't think that they would allow that.
I'll talk to Kristen.
I'll have to check my insurance. I don't think Kristen would like that.
She's gonna text me in an hour like, no.
Katie, that is a no. We say no to that.
Oh, come on,
Good morning,
Kristen.
Jen and Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We've got Katy Acheson from the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, also talking about her Blue Economy Foundation. You inherited this space, and then it was kind of like, okay, what are you gonna do with it?
Yeah. So yes, right. Here's the thing.
Okay, we did all of this. Now we're leaving. Bye.
Yeah.
And we love you, Wendy. I saw you at Cape Cod Cares. She's still out there working on environmental issues, still working on impactful issues in the area, in the arena adjacent, but left you this foundation and was like,
yeah. Well, and it kind of was, an incredible organization that just sort of didn't have a long enough momentum to sustain COVID it was just sort of inactive for a while, which is okay. It was just still. So now I'm just bringing it back to life, right? There's an incredibly overly long, I don't expect anyone to read it, implementation plan with a lot of incredible aspirational ideas. Waterworks was one of them. They manifested that. And so I'm working on manifesting those incredible ideas,
Love
right?
it.
Instead of reinventing anything, taking what is there in black and white and trying to bring it into the world, right? So behind the scenes, working on some good collaboration. So rebuilding the website. So the website was designed very informational, but not very active. There's not a lot of ways to continuously update it. So working with our friends at Dative to create a space that is a little bit more updatable, news and articles and event postings and stuff like that you find in typical websites these days. A little just more active. Working on sort of building up the social media. Thank goodness for high school interns because they're don't
so
need
good, right?
Anything you've seen on Blue Cape Cod's Instagram has been done by 17-year-olds, and I love Kyle Connor. You guys were incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I will continue to forever let other people do the Instagram. And then also doing some collaborative projects. So we're working with Cape Class on a line of merch.
Yay! Really, I love Pat.
And so that'll be out like any minute as soon as I get it. It's like in production
now.
I'm
so excited. Pat, well, we went to the same high school.
You did.
Many years apart. But it's really funny. Like I'll get the Bishop Vian magazine or whatever, and I'll go through and I'm like, oh, Pat, I saw you in whatever. And he's like, my mom's probably real proud. But just creating all their things, he practices what he preaches.
Yeah. And if you look at so I was looking at the website and I've got probably 8 pairs of glasses, but all these collaborations with all these blue economy,
so
the Woods
cool.
Hole Film Festival, Hui, the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy. I'm like, why haven't I done one yet?
Right.
So called him up and be like, all right, let's do it. He's super excited. His team did some really cool ideas. And we've got an idea now, I think, that is going to be interchangeable year on year with the theme.
Oh, I love it.
It's a little bit sort of like World War II, we want you kind of poster vibes.
Fun.
But with oysters.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. So that'll be out really soon. So doing some of those sort of collaborations that help bring the mission to life a little bit more, focusing a little bit more now, leaning into understanding advocacy and action, understanding you're talking about little things we can do to make it better.
Exactly.
To make the ocean safer, little things we can do to help our businesses, work for a chamber of commerce. So business is really high up on my priority list of supporting our small businesses. And what can we do to help every small business, working with folks at Take Care with Adam and Jill on bringing sustainable or compostable takeout containers to different places, stuff like that. Anything I can do to help that sort. So really taking what Wendy and her team created and just bringing it to life now.
Yeah.
Which it sounds, the practicalities of that are calling Stephanie and saying, hey, let's do something.
Well, I was like, okay, when are you available? Tomorrow? That sounds good. Let's go.
And so that's really what it's about, talking about it with people, showing up to places to,
but it's the little things. That's it. We've got the sustainable cups that I was working with Jill on and Adam to bring to the beer garden, because every piece of plastic, we're working. I said, before I get this thing going, I really want to be mindful of all the stuff, the trash, what we're leaving behind.
And it really doesn't take a ton. I've done a few events now where we've just had, you have a trash bin and a recycling bin.
Yeah.
And we added a compost bin at Big Blue. And people know what to do.
Yeah. And it's just like the good messaging.
If you don't put it there, people can't do it. If you do, they will.
And that's exactly it. I think if we just start doing these little things, then everybody just kind of comes along, and it's less like, why do we have to do that?
Right.
That's not going to make a difference.
And honestly, most people bring their favorite coffee thermos thing with them wherever they go anyway now too. So you don't have to tell them here's the coffee.
Yeah, I've got my Stanley. I've got my Yeti.
Cup.
I've got my thing.
Everyone's got a branded. Maybe I should do a branded.
There you go.
Blue Economy Stanley cup or something.
Yeah, right. Hey, if it gets it in people's hands so they're reminded, that's why I love the Cape Clasp idea, because it's on their arm. It's a talking piece. Where'd you get that bracelet? I got it because of this. Why? Because they're doing this. It's just a nice way to start a conversation with people about making small changes.
Yep.
like I said, with One Drop Leads to Another, with Calliope's podcast that we have here on our network at Lemonadio. It's just those small little things. My children love thrifting. And
So cool.
it's the best thing you could be
because
doing.
of a Macklemore song.
I don't know whether it became popular or not, but we were always thrift shoppers just to find something different, unique, and cool. No matter where we are in the world, we love to go thrift shopping. It's something that we love to do.
My favorite hoodie in high school was like a Malden Athletics leisure gray something hoodie that I found at like a thrift store in New Orleans. So like, yeah,
but
I didn't even know where Malden was at the time.
But the impact of fast fashion on our recycling situation has become really a big problem. Yeah. And just listening to Amy and Calliope talk about just one garment and how much water goes into the use of creating it and then destroying it. Basically, I love that Mashpee now at our town dump. You're not allowed to get rid of your clothes. You have to recycle them. We're making small choices and directions that we need to go in, but we need to do better.
Yeah, I will forever text big brothers, big sisters for clothes pickup.
Yes,
forever.
Isn't that a nice little convenient thing? Call them; they will come in and get your stuff.
You don't have to call them if you don't like talking to people on the phone. You can text them. You can sign up on the website.
When did that happen? We don't call anybody anymore.
I don't know. I'll call if it's about my cats. I'll call my vet.
Like that's not a problem.
Call my vet because they have caller ID and they know who I am and I don't have to tell them.
Yeah, right. Lauren says she needs some teen media help. We've got people for you. And our kids never want to help us, but they'll help other people. No problem.
Go. Yeah. Get them on Instagram. Just give them the keys to the kingdom and they'll go crazy. It's wonderful.
Well, that was it. Good. Like all of these conversations.
Making videos with music behind.
So cool. I know. And our chambers have been utilizing this. And I know I definitely have been talking. We have a brand new host with Lemonadio that is from Cape Cod Community College. And he wants to be a writer and he wants to do this. But he's like a little nervous in front of crowds. By the end of his first training period, he's like, when do I get on the microphone?
Yes.
So it was so nice to see that just step into a space where it made them feel a little awkward because they text, because they communicate on a device. Yeah. It's very different now.
Yeah.
To get them in public and talking to people. So it's nice. And this is the only way we're going to make a change is if we talk to each other. Yep. Speaking of talking to each other, we've had a lot of chatter socially about our new Margaritaville that's coming up.
Who's excited? Come on, parrot heads. Let's go.
Somebody posted an article that they were trying to get traction on. You know, this is like a new writer or whatever. And he's like, and there's a new Margaritaville in Cape Cod. And he was posting it on all Cape Cod spots. And the only thing that I said was on. Because I'm a jerk. But other Cape Codders immediately were like, yep. Yes. And it's, who cares? Honestly, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's a little brighter over there in that spot.
Yeah, I think some of the concern is that some of our previously locally owned businesses are being bought by much larger corporations.
That is a concern.
They're funneling funds into our economy, right? And they're employing local people. So there's got to be a balance too, right? We're still primarily small businesses, still, 90% locally owned and all that great stuff. But I think also there's a comfort level you give to visitors when you give them something familiar as well. And then you let them, stay in the familiar place and then explore the unfulfamiliar. I think that's a nice balance.
I think it's the aesthetics that scare people. They're like, it was Cape Cod,
there's
and now it's Margaritaville.
Already a pirate ship in there.
What the hell's the difference?
There's already a pirate ship in there. So there's also going to be a flip-flop. And that's okay. That's okay. Fine. Right? I think it's great.
Yeah.
My partner Ryan wants to book a few nights as soon as they open.
Well, why the hell not? You want it when it's fresh and new and nice, right?
And I can't wait for the first Parrot Head Festival.
They're right. I'm in. I want to go.
Right. So I think that there's balance. I think that there has to be some recognition of, we are such a desirable place for people to invest in, which is good. We've done a really good job here.
Yeah.
We've done a really good job here. And it's going to be a little brighter, a little more colorful. But you know what? That part of Hyannis is glowing up big. The Whole Foods moving and getting bigger. All the stuff that's going on in that plaza.
It's getting fancier.
Even across at the mall, they're doing some new stuff. So that, I think, it'll fit in with the
But
parrot.
they're still family regular businesses.
San
They've got the
Diego's is
knack,
across the
right?
street with their parrot outside.
Yeah, right.
So it'll be a good synergy. Like anyone staying at Margaritaville's gonna want to go to San Diego.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yep. It's gonna be fine, everybody.
There's synergy. All right.
It's gonna happen for us. I know we've got a big party going on over there in September. I know that that's like fast forward the summer, but it's not. E for All is doing a giant fundraiser. I think it's the first time we've ever done something like this
so cool.
on the Cape, and I'm really excited. I get to DJ, which I'm kind of pumped for. But it's so much fun to be around our E for All people. It's all baby businesses and people that live here, work hard for our community. And I'm just so thankful to be a part of this group that has done so many amazing things, and the amount of businesses that they've fostered since coming on.
6 years.
Yeah. Kristen has done such an amazing job.
And Kristen, I got her on the Blue Economy board.
Excellent.
So we're pumping that energy into it.
Good.
And they're meeting at the Cape Cod Chamber office pretty regularly. Which
Good.
makes me really happy because I kind of get to like poke in.
Well,
and see.
That's a benefit of being a chamber member. I know a lot of people always ask which chamber, what. We have Marty Brummel on the show tomorrow, so he can talk to us tomorrow about all the things that are chamber and Father's Day and car show and
car show.
Oh yeah, it's a big thing going on. Also, another car show that is happening this weekend. Here we are, full circle, going from doing better to where it all began, the classics. The 52nd annual car show is happening over at Heritage Museum and Gardens this weekend. And I know 52nd year.
Pack your lunch bag. It's going to be a busy weekend.
Yeah, it really is a busy weekend. There's stuff going on all throughout the Cape. And if you're just sitting at home complaining that it's raining, don't.
Get out.
Right? They've got a rain date. They've got a rain day for Sunday. You can just add that into the mix of the things that you're out there doing. You do not need
to mow your lawn every weekend. Right? Get out.
Well,
let's go.
That's the stuff that I've been learning when I went to farm school this year.
Don't mow.
Never found myself in a space like this, but while I was listening to these podcasts, while I'm watching this Blue Economy, while I'm here and I'm doing a little research for our town, being on the Mashpee Board of Chamber of Commerce, and also for the Boys and Girls Club. And I'm like, what do we need in our community? So I find myself building a farmer's market, because why not, in all my free time? But then finding that we've got this swath of environmental justice. We have we need more working farms in Mashpee. Mm-hmm. We need better food. We don't have a seafood place. So bringing all of this.
Yep. That's economic development and environmental justice.
Yeah.
It's good for the community.
Totally. Yep. And I am so, I don't even know, verklempt without a lot. Like, you know me, I don't have a loss for words often. To see 500 people show up on our first Sunday.
That's so cool.
And our vendors run out of food.
So good.
And run out of things because they were just like, oh, whoa. Mm-hmm. And to have everyone, even Cape Shark, come over and we're like, this is so joyful. Thank you for doing this.
Good
and I'm like,
you.
Well, it's just one of those moments where I'm just so excited. Little things make a difference. And if you sit and listen and absorb what your community is telling you, mm-hmm. you will hear it too and do the thing you need to do.
Yep. Listening is the first step. Yes, absolutely.
I know it's a little scary, everybody.
You can do it.
Talk to me about E Forever.
So Will Rubenstein and I met over Zoom in 2021 during recovery.
He's the consummate entrepreneur.
He's great. And so I was at the Mashpee Chamber at the time, and I was thinking like, hey, how come like we don't have like a Mashpee group for this Entrepreneurs Forever? Entrepreneurs Forever is sort of like the graduate school version of E for All, where your business has to have been active for about a year. You working primarily on your business and at your business, and like a certain income sort of bracket. So there's a few qualifiers, but what it is a 3-year commitment for a cohort of 12 to meet for like an hour and a half a month, to be together, to share their pain points, to share their successes, to share advice with one another, but also hear from experts, getting folks in that are experts in hiring or insurance or looking for brick and mortar, all these different things. And so Will and I were like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool? And so I knew that there was like a funding element to it, and I kind of had to put it on the back burner. I moved over to the Cape Cod Chamber, but I never really let the idea go. And then I started talking with the folks at E Forever a little bit more. And then I started talking to my friend Patrice at Rockland Trust.
Amazing. Patrice is wonderful.
If you need an energy boost, just get Patrice in the room. And so, my work sort of model is just talk to a bunch of people until I think it can actually happen and then write it down.
This is real.
So I got eForever to sort of draft up a contract if I could get the funds and we could have it in person, and I could kind of like, wedge Will in there as the facilitator, which was really advantageous to me as a small business owner. He worked at the Cape Cod Chamber. We've known each other for a while. He'd worked for eForever for eForever before. And so I pitched it to Rockland Trust. They were super excited as a 3-year financial commitment for this cohort. Will's on board and they meet at the chamber office. And so we've got 12 local businesses that are invested in each other now and invested in supporting one another and building their businesses. So it's really a great way to give local small businesses some stability and to give them the hardest thing I think about running your own business is how lonely it can get. Even if you're doing it with a partner, it can still feel really isolating, right? And so having a community to fall back on is the most valuable. And so there's no cost to the entrepreneurs. It's all paid for by the Rockland Trust Charitable Foundation. So we're so grateful to them. And yeah, it's just a really beautiful way of supporting some local businesses. And your Cliff is one of them.
I know. I'm laughing because Sarah Freeman said, I'm old man suspicious of chains like that, meaning Margaritaville.
Sure.
Also, I don't like change, LOL.
Yeah.
Which I totally get. My husband, old man suspicious about everything. So when we were talking, I saw Will, send out the thing, this group is starting. And I went for the informational session. For me, always. But I sat there and Cliff was in the car with me and I was like, this is something you are definitely doing. It is something that you need because I don't need that. I need this and I need that. And I said, what you need are other people, not me, that is support to you for your business to look at it from different eyes.
Yeah.
And to have that space for just you to go and work on your business because it is different than our business or my business, because once again, we ADHD, we're hands are in a lot of projects, which is nice, but every project has its box and I have to close that box at the end of the day and move on to the next project and keep it in that box or else stuff gets messy.
Yeah.
And so he was old man suspicious about this group. And last week he came out of the meeting because you meet once a month and he was just like, I'm glad I'm doing this.
That makes me
and
so happy.
I really am getting stuff that I didn't think that I would get out of it. And so that made me really happy too, because I think it was something that he didn't know he needed.
Yeah. And the nice thing is, so instead of like me trying to teach businesses stuff or create something myself, Entrepreneurs Forever have a tried and true tested curriculum.
Yep.
They measure everything. And so, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Will knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And the group that have assembled are like just some really awesome people.
Yeah,
just
big personalities.
Really beautiful group of people. Really like eclectic in the types of businesses. We've got photography and bookkeeping and inns and like there's like a high degree of sort of this business to business consulting group. But then there's also like therapeutic massage.
Right. Services.
Yeah, which is just really
and brick
beautiful.
And mortars. It is a good mix of people.
Yeah, it's a good mix of businesses, good mix of individuals.
Totally.
So that's something that I got to do being at the Cape Cod Chamber that I don't think I would have been able to do in other places. That was also one of the things where like, yeah, I think I can do this. Like, why not? Let's try.
I love it.
And it really suits Rockland Trust Charitable Foundation as well, because it's a nice long-term commitment. And it gives us all some sort of sustainable structure in that relationship, which is really beautiful. So grateful to them for that.
Cape Cod Chamber rolled out their new branding this year.
Truly yours.
I like it.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
It's an update. It needed to be updated.
Yeah. Kristen and Liz spent a long time talking to people that visit, talking to people that live here, talking to people that work here, and really trying to understand what it means to experience Cape Cod. And the catchphrase "truly yours." At first, I was like, "Oh, that sounds kind of old-fashioned."
Yeah,
like signing up,
like truly scrumptious from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. This is all I think. So that's where my brain went to.
But
Dick Van Dyke. Sorry,
that's right though. But if you think about whenever you leave Cape Cod
Mm-hmm.
and someone asks you where you're from and
Yep.
you say Cape Cod, every single person has a favorite beach.
Yeah.
Or their parents had a summer home or
Yep.
something.
There's a memory here.
Or they went to a wedding somewhere. Every single person in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
Or they've got a favorite movie, Jaws. That was,
Yeah.
Something, right? Or they love Cape Cod potato chips, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can get those all over the world. There's a place in Osaka, Japan called Cape Cod Bar, and they sell beer and Cape Cod potato chips.
I love this.
Okay. So it's everywhere. So the truly yours part resonates with me because that person that's asking you, oh, do you know this beach? That's their bit of Cape Cod.
Yeah.
That belongs to them in a really meaningful way that they want to share.
Yeah, their souvenir is a memory, and that's really cool.
And that's what gets, I'm like, that's what gets me like kind of like verklempt.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Is that every single person, and that's the beauty of what we can offer everyone that comes to 6 million people a year is Coast Guard Beach can be yours times 4 million people, which is really, really special.
Yeah.
Really special. So the more and more I like think about it and ruminate, that truly yours really resonates.
Yeah, very cool. Because I had the immediate thought too, but I love the way you explained it.
Yeah.
See, that's why you're at the Cape Cod Chamber.
Yeah. And then the logo is like a thumbprint.
Yeah.
But also has 15 lines. So every town can fight over which line they want.
One for all of us.
Yeah.
Pick which one you want. It's up to you.
Yeah.
I resonate with the bottom one. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Pick your favorite color out of the 3.
I love it. It is very cute. We've also got Quahog Day coming up.
With Doug.
This thing.
Doug the Quahog.
I remember when Quahog Day first started. And I remember the sales guy at the time, Mark Schmidt, absolutely love you to pieces, Mark, says to me, all right, the chamber's doing this thing. And you're going to think it's dumb. You're going to make fun of it.
Do you have your hat?
But I want you to do it. Of course I have my hat. Of course I have it. And I'm just letting you know, will anybody do it? And I was like, I will absolutely do that. I will absolutely do that and rock that. Yes, please. And so from then on, I've been a part of this in some way, shape, or form every single year.
Because you were like Doug's like love interest or
little
something
buddy,
in one of them. I'm not sure. Something like that.
There was one year that I was in California when I was first laid off from the radio station, and I was working on this podcast trip, which was amazing, working with Amtrak. And
Cool.
I know, right? So they sent me on this like California whirlwind tour to talk about their specific line. Right. So I got to go stop to stop to stop and just do the entire California coast. And it was visiting all the different chambers and working with all of their different regional stuff. It was so super fun. And I'm like, guys, I can't be there. I'm actually doing weirdly chamber adjacent activities. So they worked me into the narrative of where's the voice? Because I was the first female security at the time also. So then I got to post pandemic. I got to host one of the events, which was really, really super fun. And to be the person. This year we've got Eric Fisher. He's coming back, who's always fabulous.
He's been doing some serious meteorological training.
He's
with Doug.
Such a wonderful weather nerd, though. I connected with him when I forget he had asked us to come down at the beginning of the summer one time and do like a live shot from Mayflower Beach. And so we're there, like I'd never met him before. And we just sat there talking weather for hours, weather, beer, running, and lobster rolls.
Okay.
And I was like, you may stay, sir. We W an honorary Cape Codder.
Yeah, and he's cute, so that helps.
It does help, but he's just like a really genuinely kind human.
Yeah. His Instagram stories
fun
are mostly about his kids and ducks, which is adorable.
Yes.
So if you're not following Eric Fisher on Instagram, I think you should. It's like a little daily dose of dopamine.
Yeah.
It's very bright.
Well, I like it because my kids are all big now. So I get to see him have this joyful moment with little people, which is so fun, and get to redo all of the things that we love about Cape Cod, but as little people.
Yeah.
So it is like another lens to look at Cape Cod in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's going to be master of ceremonies once again. Paula Niedzwiecki is the only one that can talk to Doug now.
The only one that can understand.
I know.
Him.
Johnny Quahog retired. And
left his hat behind.
He did.
Listen, there's a lot of lure, a lot of like back backlog, canon, whatever you want to call it. And
Yes.
if you have no idea what we're talking about, then you've got more YouTube homework to do.
Well, this is also just another Cape Cod tradition. This has become a tradition in our house and our family.
Quahog Day is very important.
It just symbolizes something fun. Hey, this is the kickoff, the official summer kickoff that we've got. It's always the first day of summer. It's on the 20th. It's going to be over at the Chart Room this year. So that's a new area of the Cape. I know they try and move it around to our towns and get a little bit of Doug the Quahog everywhere.
Yeah. And he's going to predict how many beach days this summer again.
And he'll be closest.
Last year he got it off. He was not right last year. So he's done some training. He's done some intensive meteorological training.
All right, good.
With Eric. Eric has schooled him.
I love this.
If you haven't watched the latest Quahog Day
it's
promotional
so dorky,
video,
but I love it.
Doug went to therapy. Doug did some yoga on the beach, really reconnected with the nature around him, and then also learned a little bit more about meteorology.
Yeah, I said to myself, if I'm starting this farmer's market, we're gonna have another summer like we did last year.
No.
I'm gonna be.
Everyone's gonna be at the Children's Museum instead.
Yeah, I need therapy and the Children's Museum.
we'll find out. We'll find out on Quahog Day how the summer's gonna look.
Yeah, and I feel like it's going to be pretty fantastic. And Doug is returning closer to his original roots from Mashpee Island. We're a little bit away over at the Chart Room. And one of our new DJs, Cindy G, is going to be there playing some tunes in the background and providing a couple microphones so everybody can hear what the prognostication will be. Because this is one of those dorky Cape Cod traditions that you just need to jump on because it's fun.
Get with it.
And just come have a laugh in a mudslide.
Yeah.
Summer, crying out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
Yay, Cindy, Sarah says. We are so excited to have Cindy as part of us. She was a DJ on Nantucket years and years ago. And she's working on her own little baby business right now. But she's like, you want me to come out of retirement? I'll do some stuff for you. And we said yes to that. So you can see her playing in between the Baja Brothers tonight over at the Boys and Girls Club. We've got our beach party tonight. And if you've never seen the Baja Brothers, horns dancing on tables. That's the only thing that I can say to you. Yeah, like full on brass section while dancing on tables.
4-dimensional ska.
And I just get a little nervous because they're getting up there in age. And I get a little, I'm like, oh.
Can you put some pads
down?
Yeah,
right? Honestly, can we just some like gymnastic mats or something? I need to go see Lisa for some foam pads or something for the Children's Museum. Every time I'm like, okay, they're okay. Every time I'm so nervous. That's the mother in me. I can't help it. So that'll be tonight over. There are still tickets available. So if you'd like to go and jam out with the Baja Brothers, it's not going to be a nice day outside. So we create quite an atmosphere at the Pomponesset Inn. And all of the money goes to the children. Yes. I'll drop a link in this so you can donate because we are working on a teen center.
Cool. Yes.
And it is very necessary. So needed. If you've been following the news in Mashpee, Aaliyah has been found, but she's in my son's class. And to hear it from the inside of that conversation is just really, truly upsetting. These kids need a place to go. They need a place to connect with each other, and it needs to be in a safe environment. And it's truly needed. So what we're doing, we're having a fun beach party, but at the end of the day, we're raising money for a teen center that is a place for our kids to go at from any town on the Cape. And we're working on transportation to get them there and a place that is specifically for teens, because I feel like that is the age bracket that gets lost.
So few third spaces for teens.
Correct. And I know Hyannis Youth and Community Center is doing a great job. Brian Morrison and Hyannis, fabulous. Kudos to you guys. You do such a great job. But we need a space here on the Upper Cape for sure. And I know that, we've been talking about the YMCA. That looks like that's starting to happen. Good spaces for our people to go. Yeah. We're making changes. We are. Anything else you want to talk about before we leave today?
Oh, this is fun.
I know.
A lot of fun.
Please come back. I would love to have some blue economy specific things. And topics that we talk about a little bit more. So
absolutely. Keep an eye on the wildlife and what comes up. So we can talk about turtles,
Cape Codders, and turtles.
Turtles, dolphins, horseshoe crabs, you name an animal. We've got it somewhere. We can talk about it.
And please, when that Cape Clasp collab drops, I need you to even just pop into the studio and be like, it's here. Here it is.
So we're going to be doing stickers, hoodies, and t-shirts.
Yay.
So it's going to be really fun and really cool. So absolutely.
I am thrilled for it. Katy Acheson, how do people get a hold of you if they want to donate to the foundation, if they feel so compelled to I need to be a part of this.
Yeah, to be a part of it. You can reach out. It's Katy, Katy, at capecodchamber.org. You can probably Google it. You can go to capecodchamber.org and just look up the staff page, or bluecapecod.org, which is under construction, but my information's on there too.
Also, if you've got a project that you're working on that you think is a great fit,
let me know.
we all need to know. We all need to know about it. I just started this group events on Cape Cod.
Yes.
And it's people are jumping in there and sharing everything from everywhere. And it's unrestricted. Do your thing. Don't be a jerk.
Yeah, be
That's
nice.
our one rule.
Be nice.
But just share what it is that you're working on in your community, because if you don't talk about it and share it, we're not going to know it's there.
Yep. And look out, because there's going to be more blue economy stuff popping up. I've got a summer of desk work to do to get us. The digital presence needs to grow a little bit. So working on some stuff.
But right? I like that your busy time is in our time of, when it's just us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the businesses are busy in the summer, so they don't need me.
Right.
They need me to leave them alone a little bit.
We're trying to survive over here.
Okay. So it's triage only in the summer, but then, I get to do all the sort of behind the scenes stuff, and then things kick off with Waterworks in the fall. So we usually have it in January. So there's a lot of work in the event space then. But in the meantime, you're going to see stuff start to pop up. You'll see me start to pop up. I'll be on as many radio stations and stuff. Get
out there doing the media.
Yeah.
I had a really interesting moment with you that you are not aware of.
Okay.
I was in Provincetown for 420, stayed at a friend's house, but I had a bunch of events that I had to go, and I had to get back up early. So it's 5:00 in the morning, and I'm listening and I'm scrolling through the stations, and it's when all of the radio stations put their public outreach out to people.
That's me. I was on like 4 stations on one morning at like 5 in the morning.
5 in the morning. They're like, we're doing good. Whatever, guys. I see you. But I sat and listened to your entire interview.
Yeah, which one?
So I was listening.
I did like 5.
You're right.
It was great. It was fun. But they were all on at 5 in the morning.
Correct.
Yeah.
It was. So I was scrolling through and I was like, oh, there's Katy. Oh, there's Katy at 6.
She's on the station.
I literally did, because that's what I do. I'm like, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? And it was Katy. Katy.
Stop.
So I did. I just sat there and I was like, oh,
I guess I have to listen to her now.
I was just like, and then all of a sudden you popped up into my vortex, and I was like, meant to be. We need to talk.
Yay.
Right.
Yeah. I was thinking on the way here that we're kind of like, because we've not done this before. We're kind of like, Cape Cod is a TV show, and we're both well-established characters. We've not been on screen together yet.
Correct.
So here we are. Finally,
there we are. We did a collab, kids.
Yeah.
I would like more collabs.
It'll happen.
Yes.
We promise.
Please.
Yes.
Everybody have a great day. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Roku TV, Alexa, play Lemonade Radio, whether you're listening to us or watching us. We really do thank you for helping us in our small little space on the Cape. Lemonade Co. is off to the races. We've got to thank our staff here. Hank, Bree, we've got Emily back behind the scenes that is doing all of the hard work for us. We're really excited. There's a fair in the air, and I just heard yesterday that we are doing the Demolition Derby this year.
Nice.
So
score.
I know. So I would love to talk to you about maybe some mindful merchandising purchases that are a little bit more sustainable than the usual.
Trucks.
Correct. It's like, there's got to be a balance here. So we're going to be there for that event, and it is going to be all hands on deck. We've got Amina over at our farmers market. Liz, Sandy, I thank you all so much for just putting your time and effort. All of the people that we've been working with over at Cape Cod Community College. Thank you. I appreciate you as students. Nate and also Lisa Z, you've been instrumental, monumental in getting this off the ground. And I'm talking like I'm going, because I actually am. We're leaving for a conference in Dublin on Sunday after the farmers market. So all of my people are going to be running things. So I really hope that you're just kind and warm and as energetic as you are to us while we're here. I'll see you in July. I'll be back on the show tomorrow with Marty Brummel, and we'll be talking all things chamber again, but a little bit differently. Father's Day is coming. So I know Hyannis has been working on some other fun things interconnective too. Katy, thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day. We'll see ya.